Welcome to another edition of Brian's Big Idea. I am Brian Bolin, and I am the aggressive growth stock strategist here at Zacks. And I have a big idea that everyone knows about. It's called Nvidia, and the stock is up over 100 points today in the session following the most recent earnings report. And people want to know, is it okay to buy this stock right now? We are at all-time highs for Nvidia. They just posted big earnings. They said a lot of things that are going to make investors go, boy, I think I should be in, even though the market feels a little bit in trouble. There's all these different things that are happening, and the services that I run, I've been telling investors that we are, in fact, climbing the wall of worry. And the wall of worry, as you think about how the stock market moves, the wall of worry is that time when you're worried about all these small items that keep on popping up. And, does this feel like the top? Is this the top? And the answer is no. We're climbing that wall. And there's all these instances of Taiwan's going to get invaded by China in June. And oil's going to dump. And, all these we're going to be in a recession. All these things pop up to try to shake investors loose of their position. But I don't think anyone's going to be shaken loose of Nvidia or shook loose. And I believe that investors should be looking at the stock and looking for any dips as buying opportunities. So let's go through all of what we normally look at in Nvidia, the phenomenal stock, and then take a look at a couple services that hold stock here at Zacks. All right, so we've got Nvidia here and $1,056, and everyone knows it's NVDA, right? And it's Zacks rank number one, strong buy, B growth, F value, just what an aggressive growth guy likes to see. Up $107 per share today, or 11% right now. This chart will update later, but obviously they just posted this beat, and whoop, that's what would happen to the stock. So, we've got a ultra large market cap here, 2.3 trillion. That's big. They pay that dividend. It's okay. And here's the other idea that I got to talk about real quick, since we're talking about the dividend. The stock is going to split 10 for 1. So for every share you have, soon you will have 10 shares. And they say, Brian, when am I going to have these 10 shares? Well, it's going to happen on June 10th. You're going to wake up June 10th with 10 times more shares than you have, but the stock price will be divided by 10. What's the point? A lot of people always ask that, but retail investors are afraid generally of buying high dollar stocks. This is going to increase the volume. The volume is already tremendous in this stock, but maybe that's a side idea to think about the exchanges. NDAQ would be a potential because it trades on the NASDAQ, so 4-letter ticker. So the trading volume is probably going to go up substantially for Nvidia. That means more liquidity. Also means a tighter bid ask, most likely. And you're not going to see these 40, 50 point moves that we've been seeing over the last several weeks in the stock. You're probably going to see a 3-4 point move. So a little bit more, that should calm a lot more people that are anxious around when big dollar stocks move big points, even though it's a percentage game. Try to keep that in mind. A percentage game, we're looking for that percent movement. All right, so that's the stock split. And the dividend after the stock split is going to go to a penny, right? So this divided by 10, or maybe 10 cents. I'll have to check on that to make sure. But dividend increases by 150% post-split. So you would divide this by 10. So that would push that to 1.6 cents per share. So I think they're going to move it to 10 cents. All right. Let's take a look at the numbers that we're going to look at. Okay, these are updated. We just beat here this quarter. We posted 612, and that was much better. We can see that the company has been beating the number somewhat handily, and this is covered by 30 analysts at least. So a very solid consensus. So they're beating a very broad consensus number. What is going to happen to earnings estimates? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, what's been happening. They've been running up into the print. They're going to keep going up. 605 to 624, that's still going to move higher because we're just getting those estimates in today and tomorrow. And all these numbers that you see are all moving up, and they're going to continue to move up. And why is that, Brian? Well, because the company guided next quarter's revenues higher. Let's get up to our portion, if I can figure out how to work this thing, and I can. Get up to sales here. 26 billion is the estimate for this next quarter. They raised guidance to 27.4 to 28.6. So almost a quarter ahead of time. And that's going to represent more than 100% year over year growth, because we can see 26 represented 94%. And then the idea is next quarter, are we going to be looking at $30 billion? And that growth is there. They also had a little something to say in the earnings call. They noted that they are preparing for their next wave of growth. Imagine that this stock has been growing gangbusters, 77% this year if the 108 stands, which is probably going to move up another couple billion. But the growth, another wave that's tremendous. Their next product that they announced not too long ago is already available for sale. So that tells you the speed at which the company is moving, their efficiency. That's great to see. So that's earnings, that's sales outlook. Let's look at the valuation. What are you paying for a monster grower like Nvidia and a huge company of the safety of a gigantic cap? And you can see 265% year-over-year growth. That's just unbelievable for the size of the company. Price to book, the value investors just aren't going to like this at all. 55 times. But they are growing so fast that, the price to book, price to sales, price to earnings, they're all big numbers, but they're justified by that 265% growth. And as they are growing, margins continue to move up and at a good clip from 43% to 49%, and I'm pretty sure 51% in this most recent quarter. So margin growth, sales growth leads to earnings growth, leads to higher stock prices. All right, take a look at the chart. And Nvidia was doing great before tech recession. And 2023, if you were smart enough back then to buy it, boy, you've done great, especially if you've held it this whole time. And indications that it's going to just keep on moving higher. So the question mark is, do you buy Nvidia? And I think the answer is yes. I think it keeps on going higher. I don't think that there's any doubt we're going to be headed towards $1,200 to maybe $1,300 a share in the coming months. Now that at 1,056, 55 right now, that's still a good return. There's still a good 10% there, and you're talking about 4 quarters from now. So that's the outlook for Nvidia from me. Now, we have several services at Zacks Investment Research that love this stock. Let's go to the first one. It's Blockchain Innovators. And I've kind of cut everything out here. You're going to have to look all the way down at the bottom of the screen. But buy and hold David Bartosiak added this stock September 30th of 2019 for $43. Let me say that again. For $43, it's now $1,000 more. That's a 2,330% return. Outstanding move by David Bartosiak to scoop that nice and low. Pretty soon, it's going to be split adjusted, and it's going to look like he bought it at $4.30. And everyone's going to ask me, Brian, why didn't you buy it in stocks under 10? Well, it never was low enough to buy it in stocks. All right, so David Bartosiak, good for you in Blockchain Innovators, a service that focuses on Bitcoin, blockchain, digital assets. All right, our next one is Kevin Cook. He runs Taser. That's the technical analysis plus the Zacks rank. That's what Taser means. And as you can see, he's got a big percentage of the portfolio in Nvidia, 14.75%, possibly because it's grown so much. But he added this stock. It's another buy and hold long-term action in October of 2022 at $125 a share, and he's got a 744% return on the stock. Now, more recently, on April 22nd of this year, he bought the NVDA, which is the 2 times long. Let me see if I can't get that come back up. It's the 2 times long ETF, which is up 22% today, thanks to the gigantic 11% move in the stock. So if you really want to outsize your gains and you're a really big believer in NVIDIA long is the thing. He's up 73% on that stock in a month. What an outstanding move by Kevin Cook, who runs Taser. All right, so Taser service. So rounding this all off, tech innovators, and it's amazing how NVIDIA is the top stock in each one of these. I'm going to point to it right down here. If you missed all these other, I didn't use the pointer there for that, but Andrew bought NVIDIA here right around the same time Cooker went in on 2 times long, and the 29th of April here, just in front of the report, he caught the dip, 875. He's now up 20% on those shares. So here's the big idea. Here is the big idea. It's everybody loves NVIDIA, and I love it too, and I think it's great, and there is still great growth for this stock. And when you have great growth, increasing margins, you're going to have increasing EPS, and when you have all those 3 things together, you're going to see the stock price move higher. So to answer the question, should you buy NVIDIA now, even after this report? The answer is yes. Obviously, add at dips. You don't want to buy it all at once. Buy some, think about it, wait for it to dip a little bit, and on dips, add to your position. Stock is going to split June 10th. They've increased their dividend. Growth on the top line, growth in margins, growth in earnings. This is nothing but a winner. Everybody owns it, but buy more of it is the end idea. All right, that's it for this time. Be sure to join me next time when I have another big idea. But until then, why don't you go to Zacks.com/promo to check out all of our latest promotions.